Today I passed a sign that said, if you see someone who doesn't have a smile, give them yours. So there you go. I just gave you my smile. Welcome to another edition of XFeed. If this is your first time tuning in, we are getting a flood of new people that are checking out videos, and I love that, but I do have to clarify that we cover a range of topics. Traditionally, I do a rapid fire. I had someone that made a comment that was like, these are all over the place. I'm not going to watch it again. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, that's cool if you're not a fan. And not 95% of the time, whenever there's sort of a negative comment, I usually address it. And normally it never gets a reply. But this person was like, nothing against you, but it was all over the place. And they gave a little bit of insight regarding that. So we're going to try to go back to slow maxing and really give some perspectives, insights, maybe add a little bit extra to some of the topics. But today, on the trusty notepad, in which we like to go for, the Ascended Heroes release. It's bonkers to see prices of something that just came out, and that's the Pokemon latest release, which drives me nuts. When I first got into like playing trading card games, it was like, oh my god, if I want to play the standard edition, you always got to get these new packs, but it's always fun to do that. So we're going to go over that release, some of the crazy prices that people are already paying for a couple of those cards. We used to do a lot of streams talking about the metaverse, and Google just released something, or at least that's coming, that is what the idea around the metaverse was. And maybe that's one of the reasons a lot of them aren't existing anymore. So we'll highlight that briefly. We have more brands that are collaborating with other collectible brands. So brands collaborating with brands, that makes sense, duh. But we're seeing a slight uptick in those that already have some sort of a collectible name of sorts. We'll go over one of the latest. We have Lego that announces a new set, which we just saw the Lego one, we just saw the Legend of Zelda one, and there's another one coming, and it's just like, oh my goodness. But remember, for Lego, they're just a brand. You have all these other specialty niche ones that people are interested in on the IP front, and so they can just partner with literally everybody. Talk about interoperability. We have the NFL or Fanatics working together to create some interesting collectibles and a couple of other random bits. So if you've sat through me yapping away on that one, let's get into it. Happy Ascended Heroes release day. Even though the release date of the booster bundles and elite trainer boxes has been pushed to February 20th of 2026 in the US and Canada, the tech sticker collection, which includes 3 Ascended Hero packs, is now available for purchase. So what the heck is a tech sticker collection? That's what these are right here. So if you end up going to any stores, which people, I've seen some unreal footage of people going around to different Walmarts, different big box stores, and trying to find these releases and elsewhere across the world. And I've also seen the big debate around some of the trading cards, like the Dragonite one, where it's got some kind of funky name in the back of it, and people are highlighting the fact that, yeah, let's just take the Japanese one because the English one just doesn't make any sense as a part of it. But this is from the Pokemon official site. There's over 290 cards that are amongst it, over 30 different trainers. People went into this with the expectations that the set was going to be in demand, and, well, everything is absolutely flying off the shelves, and those are some of the different box items and tins that are going to be available on that front. Now, here's an example of the prices of some of the cards. All right, $800, $900. Again, do this in American dollars, which apparently the US dollar went up today. I was reading that right before. And then you see the big one. And then you see the big one. So the Gengar, which this is going to totally not let me do the full increase on this, but somebody paid $1,325 for the Mega Gengar EX English edition that just came out. And this is the same argument that people had regarding the Topps Chrome set that just happened within the NBA, of why is everybody paying so much for Cooper Flagg? And then you see Cooper Flagg go out and drop 44 points, and everybody's like, oh my god, Cooper Flagg cards are going to go crazy. So what does it look like across Ascended Heroes? for the Topps Chrome. How many boxes are printed? We have no idea. And that was one of the arguments that we kept saying of, oh, all right, well, for collectibles, having that blockchain aspect, having that transparency, knowing exactly how many cards exist out there, it's kind of a mental note. So do we ever see when these physical collectible companies have something where they say explicitly how much is printed? I'm not sure, but that still gives the argument going back to the people that are really into the blockchain space and those digital collectibles. So Project Genie, this is the big piece coming out of Google. If you've not seen, basically they're just creating virtual worlds. And apparently there's no sound. I can't hear it. What do we think about that? I thought the ant looked cool. I thought the eagle flying looked sort of cool. When it got to the person's room and they showcased what it looked like of them taking a photo and then being able to act as the cat in their own room, that's when things get a little bit more personable and people care about it. Because it's all about filters. I remember having this take a while ago, that if you can just take what people like and give them different filters or experiences specifically about the things they like, where when we see in a lot of these major brands, they have a movie, they have a TV show, they have a card game, they have collectibles, and people can become super fans of a brand. That's that sort of experience. And I remember watching it earlier today and thinking, man, like some of that's kind of cool, but like I also don't know if I don't know if I care about some of the worlds that it showed. Like some of them graphically look cool, but then it went back to the brands, the IPs. If I was able to go and experience what it's like within a certain game, where we could use Hogwarts Legacy around Harry Potter before, when that game came out. Well, it's a virtual world where it's a game and it's got extra components to it, where that is showing, okay, you can kind of prompt anything, but what does it look like? Do we see where it opens up to other brands and IPs that become a part of it? What does it look like over on the side of Roblox? What does it look on the side of Fortnite, where you have these worlds and everything is just turning into this massive competition? Massive competition. Who is going to come out on top? So you're going to have a little bit of a segue for a second. If you've not seen, VeeFriends has been doing some streams, and they did a comic the other day, and amongst their comic sale on Whatnot, they had a rare robot sketch card. Now, this is one of the characters within the VeeFriends universe, similar to Pikachu in Pokemon or Monkey D. Luffy in One Piece. Might not be familiar with VeeFriends, but that's fine. It's becoming a pretty big collectible component, where they originally started within the digital landscape, and then they created some trading cards, and they were probably the first company, an IP that got really heavy into the trading card space, talking about collectibles at a point. And again, this is like the company created by Gary Vaynerchuk. And at a point, going back to the craziness around NFTs, there was a time where there was a collection called book games. And if you bought X amount of books, you were able to get an NFT that was associated with it. Now, it wasn't VeeFriends, but that book ended up becoming like a New York Times bestseller, and Gary is a genius marketer within that front. And so VeeFriends has been in an interesting spot where the physical collectibles has seen a pretty strong market, and they've held generally flat, or if not up a little bit over the past several years, where the NFTs have taken a complete nosedive and are slowly starting to kind of rise again, if you will. So seeing the physical collectible front and then being able to partner with some of these bigger players, it's like, okay, so is everybody just going to be looking to the physical front that's on the digital side? And what does it look like for the other companies that are just kind of existing, that have something? Well, they're going to want to pair with a collectible brand that people want to collect. Because I can't think of the last time I ate any candy. Maybe that's an awful thing to say. I don't know if you're like a cake or candy kind of person. I'm definitely cake, or pumpkin pie, apple pie. Hell yeah. But bring the heat. Let's bring the heat. Jolly Rancher. And this is, it gives me, I'm forgetting what the name of it is. I forget what the name of this thing is. But it was a box that you got. I might actually have it in the closet. And you got some pins of a certain brand. Maybe you got a shirt that was associated with it as well. And you were able to get these monthly, and they weren't really expensive at all. And this gave me kind of the hidden nostalgia of that. I also love getting mail. We definitely need to invent something that you are able to order every month and get. Guys, you don't get mail unless it's bills. That's no fun. You know what I'm saying? So let's look and see what exactly is in here, because the big component is not the candy, right? It's not the candy. People are going to be chasing the collectibles that are associated with it overall. So the Series 1 Sweet Swan and Hotshot Hornet holders, this is where the digital collectible side comes in, okay? Because Hotshot Hornet is one of the characters like the Pikachu or Monkey D. Luffy that's connected to the digital collectible. And what they've done is there's different characters that are associated with different things, and he's trying to find something interesting for all of them. So they get a special little perk within that, but then coming on down, there are only 1,000 boxes. So they've figured out the FOMO idea of things, all right? Then you get 2 bags of candy. sorry, make it 3 bags of candy. And then there's 2 different sticker sets with a chance to pull a 1/3 auto super sticker signed by Gary V. 1 limited edition comic card signed by DJ Kaufman, featuring a story about Sweet Swan and Hotshot Hornet. Collect all 4 unique comic cards to assemble a full-size poster from the artwork on the back, which people could be chasing that. They could be chasing the stickers. The Heatwave Collector's Box features 2 VeeFriends characters, Sweet Swan and Hotshot Hornet, which, again, they have like a hand-drawn variant for Gary, and then they have these kind of like newer-aged artist style ones that are a little bit more appealing to the average folk, and then they just give some extra insight. So yeah, you get comic stickers, you get stickers in general, and then you get 3 different pieces, but with the limited edition supply, that's what we're going for. So the question, if you're going to ask yourself, I suppose, is, are limited edition collectibles really the next big thing? We saw with Gatorade, where they did a Stranger Things collab. If you've seen the latest Stranger Things season 5, no spoilers or anything, but they show in a couple different scenes this retro Gatorade bottle, and there's people that crashing out being like, oh my god, the ad placement, what the hell is going on? But at the time when it was in the show, I'm like, oh, like that's kind of cool, and gives you a little bit of, yeah, I've seen those in the older commercials. And then they did a specific box set exactly like that, or let me just bring that up if I can. Yeah. And so they charged $70 for these, and it wasn't something that was like unlimited, right? But you got a t-shirt, you got a sideline towel that said Gatorade on it, and then you got the glass bottle that was associated with it. And that was it for $70 in limited edition. And immediately those things were selling for $200, $300+ dollars. And so maybe, all right, it's a little bit of a flipper's game, but depending on what you can get, and obviously Gatorade and Stranger Things are top dogs, but Jolly Rancher partnering with Gary Vaynerchuk, or VeeFriends, excuse me, where there is a big notable collector side for the VeeFriends. I don't know how many people go out and like specifically collect Jolly Rancher, but it is ingenious from that aspect. Okay, let's continue on. And so the price for that, actually, because I didn't even read that off the top, is $30. So knowing what you do of it being a limited collectible, you have a ton of people that are interested in the VeeFriends brand, and it's $30 if you can get into it. People would probably be down for it. Now, on the flip side, we go from something that I think is, you know what, all right, kind of cool, to what in the hell are we doing? Like, what are we doing? So Winnie the Pooh, it turned 100 this year. We have unbelievable amounts of brands, which Labubu also apparently is having its 10th birthday, and I didn't know Labubu was like a her. I thought it was like an entire collection, but I guess it's like a single person or item, character, whatever. That's news to me. Okay, I digress. Winnie the Pooh is 100 years old, and this is the best that Lego can do for it. I don't know. I'm crashing out a little bit over it. The faces just don't work. I get that you have to be like the voxelated square Lego thing, but it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't give me good vibes. It doesn't make me feel good inside. Normally, you're supposed to be watching the Winnie the Pooh and feeling good. You know what I mean? Having a bucket of honey. That is not the case. Now, a little bit of more somber news, because we did a stream the other day. So the headline on this, Winnipeg Collectibles shop faces break-ins, vandalism, but owner remains hopeful. I did a stream the other day where we went in depth. We watched like 3 to 4 different interviews with shop owners that were subject to these break-ins. And we did an entire segment on it. I got like 8 dislikes on it. Now, it got almost 2,000 views, and I'm like, hell yeah. But if we were going to go contact YouTube and find out who those 8 people that disliked it are, I mean, I don't know. They might have some sort of association with it, because who the hell is disliking a video when we're all fans of something and trying to put a spotlight on, hey, this thing's kind of fishy over here. You know what I mean? Tolly, what in the halibut is going on? So check this out. This is where it gets freaky, and you don't really like understand how insane it is unless you are a shop owner, okay? So a Winnipeg collectibles shop that has served customers for more than 2 decades says it is pressing on despite repeated break-ins, vandalism, and rising security concerns that the owner says have become part of daily operations. Michael Pale, owner of Cobra Collectibles, said last year brought a wave of theft. So we're seeing it again towards like the latter half of the year, but if this has been going on the entire time, property damage and aggressive behavior that forced the business to significantly increase security measures. In quotes, last year we had people smash cameras outside. We had people coming in to demand things. Pauly said running a small business now involves dealing with far more than inventory and customers. He said theft and vandalism became routine last year, costing the business thousands of dollars each month. Police says the growing concern around security have transformed how the store operates. And in quotes, in the final thing, we have probably 100 keys for locks. It feels like we're a jewelry store and we are a toy store. Ay, ay, ay. And then you're immediately reminded of another incident. So in the NCAA for basketball, Rutgers University, I don't know who the hell decided this. We saw where McDonald's canceled a collaboration with One Piece because of how insane the people were around collecting the Pokemon cards when they did a promotion for McDonald's. Okay, right? So I don't know who didn't do their research, and we did a clip the other day. If you want to go check that out, you'll see it. The thumbnail's super cool. It's got Luffy in it, all that kind of stuff. If you want to see the full story on it. But then it comes out that there's somebody that didn't have any forceful break-in, no signs of any, damages, whatever. Somebody just kind of open the door and let somebody else in, 100%. And they got $2 million worth of the card that was a part of that promo from the university. Like, is that why the price of the card is so insane? Or does it go back to the original discussion at the beginning of the stream where we saw Ascended Heroes has come out? We know that it's going to be a slower delay for things. People could FOMO over everything early, similar to the Cooper Flagg thing of, you know, expecting this, that, and the other thing. And then, you know, the riskier people go out and buy the things before there's a higher demand. But, like, my God, why is there everything so negative and bad almost every day happening? Fanatics doing this new fine art series. I'm not really sure how to feel about this. I think the concept's sort of interesting, but basically they're taking a bunch of, like, official NFL merchandise and then doing different, like, artistic designs on them, which I'll kind of scroll through. I don't really have a whole lot to say on it, to be honest. I think the Seahawks ones look cool with, like, maybe it's just the way, like, the shading is. And it's, I don't know if you've ever been to, like, the fairs where there's somebody that has spray paint cans and they do, like, some funky designs on a board. That that kind of reminds me of this. But the Marshawn Lynch Seattle Seahawks autographed Fanatics authentic Riddell Speed Flex authentic helmet. We got to shorten that. Art by Alex Alpert, limited edition, 1 of 1, sold for $9,999.99. So let's look at what some of the biggest sales of the past week were in trading cards. A 2003 Topps Chrome LeBron James. Boom. Boom. 1.1 million. Oh, okay. Now I understand why people are paying an arm and a leg for Cooper Flagg already. Okay, I understand. This is hilarious. Why do they just throw together two athletes that have no connection between their sports? But they do it. 2009 exquisite dual numbers, LeBron James and Tiger Woods. 552,000. Talked about this on the stream the other day. The Kaboom for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 432,000. Record for the player as well, not just the top 3 sale of the week. Shohei Ohtani 2018 Topps Chrome Orange Refractor, 252. So I was at the card show last weekend, and there was a guy at a booth, TK Collects. What an absolute Chad. And he pulls out this Ohtani rookie card, and he's like, I'm holding this till it's worth $30,000. It was great. I was like, okay, so we brought it to the show. Like, if somebody walks up, like, I need to recheck the footage because he might have had a price tag on it. I don't know, but like, if I walk up to him and I was like, "Here's $1,000," would he have taken it, or would he have given me the same answer that he's that he's holding on to it, and it's just simply for display? And then there's LeBron James 1 of 1 for 222,000. But if you want to go over the most sold cards by active player, this one is, I think, super, super cool. Drake May, and this is in the last 30 days, mind you, 41,500. Cooper Flagg, 33,000. You can see that it really starts dropping off after that. Caleb Williams, 18,000. Victor Wembanyama, yo, M-Doll, here we go, 17.5. And then Bo Nix. And just going down this list, it's interesting of like just simply who is on there. And of course, LeBron, Shohei, pretty much always on the top of these different charts, but wild. Collectibles, I tell you. Now we gotta let you know the Foghorn Leghorn guy. You know, you ever seen that in like Teletoons back in the day? Looney Tunes, Teletoons, yeah, hell yeah. The RWA Segments podcast. We have had a slew of really, really cool guests. Next week we're talking with the CEO who's taken over the Gutter Cat Gang. And if you've not seen some of the footage that I've uploaded before, LaMelo Ball actually did a shoe collab with Gutter Cat Gang and Puma a while back. He also, during an NBA game, wore Gutter Cat shoes that nobody knew what that was outside of the digital landscape, but it was a really, really big deal. So next week, we're going to be dropping an episode where we talk about that in specific, and I know that I keep saying episode wrong, so thank you for letting me know that. And then this past week, we've done a couple of extra interviews that I think you guys are going to absolutely love that are going to come out once a week. But of course, we've done a slew of very, very exciting thought-provoking, asking perspectives, where the past week we had Henry on from CyberKongs, where we got into the digital collectible landscape and specifically around crypto gaming and the tokenization of it, and he had some brutally harsh words for that. So if you type in RWA SegMints with an I anywhere that you search for podcasts, you'll be able to find it. But otherwise, I'll drop a link down in the description below if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're following me on X, you can check that out in my bio. M. Tolly, anyone else that's watching this, appreciate you guys. Any likes, comments are appreciated. Let me know if you like that. We're slow maxing things just a little bit. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you soon.